Hey everybody, we're back to the Hal Leonard book today. This is lesson 28. We're going to look at Worried Man Blues now. We learned the notes on the fourth string a little while ago, the D, E, and F notes. Open 4 is D, second fret is E, third fret is F. And then we applied those notes not to Hal Leonard books, but to some Christmas songs, including yesterday we did Auld Lang Syne. We found out that that was a G pentatonic major song. In G pentatonic major, we have the key of G with G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G, except we eliminate the fourth and the seventh to make the pentatonic scale. So it's G, A, B, the C is gone, we have D and E, and the F or F sharp are gone. In the key of G, we should see an F sharp here in the key signature, telling you that every F in the song is going to be sharp. It'll be raised by a fret. However, Hal Leonard doesn't do this at this point because there will be no Fs in the song to worry about, so they're not going to bother indicating that to us yet, as we don't actually know in the context of that book that there are such things as F sharps or key signatures yet. Here are your string names again, E, A, D, G, B, and E. There's no point reviewing all of that anymore. We're playing on the middle of the guitar again, as we've spoken about with a lot of these G pentatonic songs. We'll use the D and G strings primarily. Open D, open G with second fret E and second fret A, and also an open B. That's the end of the notes we'll have. D, E, G, A, B, B, A, G, I've tabbed it this time. Over here you see the 6 strings of your guitar aligning with the 6 strings of this picture. On the 4th string there we see open and then 2. Underneath I've labeled that D and E. So D is the open 4th string, E is the 2nd fret. On the 3rd string we have open, which is the G, 2, which is the A, and then open B on the 2nd string. We haven't used tab a lot, so it's nice just to get a peek at it, to equate it to this guitar picture, always reminding yourself that it's not a staff, it's not the treble clef system, it's just a representation of the strings on your guitar. A couple of reminders about the notes we'll be using. D is written under the staff, it's in the space below the staff. It's the mirror image of G, which was the first note we learned above the staff. Those two will always look alike, just on a reversed image. We have E notes, which we know are on this line from Every Good Boy Deserves Fudge. The G and the A are the 3rd string notes you learned, and that B, right down the middle of the staff, we learned early on. One nice thing about knowing that you're in a pentatonic song, especially at this stage, if you're actually just learning the D string with the D, E, and F notes, is that this song has no F notes. I would actually make a note on your page about that so you don't look for them. A lot of people at this point will be confusing E's and F's. They're not necessarily easy to keep straight, so it's nice to come into a song like this already armed with that knowledge that there are no F's to be looking for. So if your choice is between E and F, we only have E's right now. Notice I'm not giving you all the particulars about it. We can use this song to reinforce our E notes at the expense of the missing F's. One more idea that we have in this song that they're introducing, that we saw in Auld Lang Syne as well, is before the first full bar of music, we have this D note. It's a single note right before the downbeat, beat 1. If this is 1, which it has to be because it's the first note in that bar, then this is 4. The question then is, where are those missing 3 beats? And it turns out they're at the last line of the song, and we're going to do a little bit to review that in a second right before we do the song. As usual, I've written the song out here so we can discuss it a bit before we play it. I'll put the actual music up at the end of the session, as usual, but you should be playing from your own Hal Leonard book, making your own notes in it. The things we drew already should be in your book if they're not completely familiar to you. Little sketches all the time of your guitar neck, where the notes are, little reviews of what's going on are always helpful. Once again, your treble clef, your musical staff is 5 lines. I've created a key signature now. I've put the F sharp note here. This top line is the F from Every Good Boy Deserves Fudge, and the F sharp, the sharp sign on it, will tell you that any F you encounter in the song is going to be sharp, which is raised a fret. And that would be whether it's a high F, move to an F sharp, or a 4th string F, move to an F sharp, or a 6th string F moved to an F sharp. Although those are not all the same F as this on the line, this indicates that any one of them would be sharp in the key of G. The reason it's not spelled out again in your Hal Leonard is we just don't need to know it. There are no Fs in this song. So the first thing we notice is we have this note sitting here. There's beat 1. So in this bar we would count 1, 2, 3, 4. So this must be beat 4 before the first 1. We talked about it before and I told you what it was. If this were our second session on this topic, you probably wouldn't remember. You might not remember for 4 or 5. I'd ask you song after song. Don't worry about it. That's what I do. I'll ask you again and again until it comes to be second nature to you. The same way that I'm describing these things again and again. So this note has been borrowed. It comes from the last bar of music. If this is beat 4, then that must be only 3 beats long. Inductively, we can learn then that that half note, which is a 2-beat note, has a dot on it, extending it to 3. So the dotted half note is a 3-beat note. The page in Hal Leonard is teaching you that now, and this is a great opportunity to see it. We've also seen it as mentioned in Auld Lang Syne. So the dot on a note extends its value by half. A half note is 2 beats long. With a dot, it's 2 plus 1. It's 3 beats. I prefer to think of the dot as adding the next note of lesser value. So a half note with a dot is a half note plus a quarter note. A quarter note with a dot is a quarter note plus an eighth note. Quarter notes are 1 beat, eighth notes are a half a beat, so a quarter note with a dot, the dotted quarter, is a beat and a half. Either way, the math works out. You can consider the dot being 1.5 times the quarter note, which is 1.5 beats. So last time I drew a hand retrieving that note to place it there, and I said that would probably remind you of what it is. Now I have another thing that I can show you. Sometimes I'll draw this at the top of your page. I ran out of room at the top, so I put it at the bottom. Hopefully you can identify what I'm trying to represent there. Usually students enjoy this image a little bit more. So you look at that and you see a pickup truck. There's hopefully a guy waving to you, and he's got that note in the back of his truck. So he's come down to the bottom bar, picked that note up, and in his pickup truck is driving it to the top. That's how it gets there. It doesn't have to be one note. It could be 2 or 3 beats. As mentioned, it wouldn't be 4 beats. If it were, it would just be a complete bar again. As usual, I'd like you to read through all your notes to identify them. So you might look at this, and if you're really cooking on it, I'd stop you after 4 or 5 bars. If you were naming these D, 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 E, G, A, B, 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 A, G, G, E, 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 and you're having no trouble, I'd say, okay, great, you're fine. If you're having any trouble, just keep going. Practice all the way through it, naming the notes. As you know, we only have 5 notes to choose from here, D, E, G, A, and B. We see those all right to this point in the song. That's the entire scale of the song. Because this song has been so unpleasant to so many people over the years, I've broken it down a lot, and I found different ways to teach it. It's usually a favorite now, but it takes a little bit of work. So I would ask a student how many D's there are. There's 4. Then what note do we have? The E, and then this G. Depending on your level, I may have you only play those 4 notes, and then I would play the rest. Or I could ask you to play every set of repeated notes. But right now, I'd say let's try that one phrase. So we see 4 D's, an E, and a G. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, E, G. Then I'd stop you. We try again. We talk about this. This again is a song where I cheat a little bit, and I don't have you just purely reading your notes. We'd try out, as we did earlier, D to E to G. Open to 2 to open. This entire song is open to 2 to open. And I would actually have you name your way through that as well. Let's try that first lick. It's 4 opens, a 2, and then an open G. 4 D's, an E, and then an open G. If you're good at that, I'd have you count to 3 on this, and we hit that A on beat 4. Notice the theme created by the pickup note, we're playing on beat 4, playing a bar, and having a long note, is going to be repeated throughout the song. so often the rhythmic motif is developed right at the first bar. So in the second set here, we have an A. It looks like your and, hopefully. Your B's, they're the middle, they're the belt. Back to the A, down to the G. Second fret, open, open, open. Second fret, open. So we get A, second fret, third string. Open B's, second string. Back to the A, down to the G. Always throughout this song, we're going from an open to a second fret, up to an open, back down from that open to the second fret to the open of the next string. We're always walking through them like that. So that would be A, B, B, A, G. Again, I'd count you to 3. 1, 2, 3. A, B, 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 A, G. And that G is going to be 3 beats. We practice each of those little licks a few times. Now we could put them together. 1, 2, 3. D, 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 E, G. 2, 3. A, B, 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 A, G. Then we can learn the next one. We start with a G, then 3 E's. So we've gone from open down to a 2 on the 4th string, back up to the open, and end on the open G again. So those 6 notes are G, 3 E's, and back to the G's. So G, E, 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 G, G. Again, you're holding for 3 beats. Remind yourself that those are your dotted half notes. We counted to 3 before we started. Every time we rest on one of those dotted half notes, we count to 3. Here's the count for a couple of lines. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Next line. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm on this D for 3 beats. Those 4 phrases we could practice one at a time over and over, maybe exchanging phrases. Maybe I'd have you play only the repeated notes. Maybe I'd have you play only the long notes. So I might play D, 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 E, and you hit the G. A, B, 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 A, you hit the G. G, E, 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 G, you hit the G. E, G, 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 E, D. Anything to get you playing through it and hearing it. So we've played through the first G chord, 3 bars of C into the next G. Now we see 4 Ds again and that E and the G. That's this idea one more time. In a sense, it's going to feel like we're repeating. These Ds are the same, up to those Bs are the same, and the A at the end of the line. The difference is that in bar 4, when we came down from that B, 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 A, G, we held the G as we do throughout the song. Here we don't. Rather than holding it for 3 beats, we play each of the 3 beats with these Gs. This is a place where students will struggle. They've just gotten the hang of holding those dotted half notes for 3 beats. They're getting that ingrained, and then they land on this one and they don't get that rest. Here's everything up to there again. A 1, 2, 3, D, E, G for 3, A to B's, A to G for 3, G to E's, G, G for 3, E to G, E to D for 3. 1, 2, 3. Now it feels like a repeat. G for 3 beats, A, B's, but now we keep playing half notes on those A's, 2 quarter notes, and a walk down. This is a G song that ends on a G note. That's handy. Usually G songs will end on Gs. We saw, once again, it didn't start on the G. As we've seen with our pentatonic songs, we're playing in the center with the G on the 3rd string. But that gives us some leeway underneath. We can play the D, the 5th note of the scale, underneath the G. So it comes up from the D to the G. After getting good at those 2 lines, students would need to work on this last line a little bit. Get it into their heads that they're not holding that G as they have before. So you could count in here. Actually, what I would do is count in and play the A right here, A, and then these 3 Gs. or even pick up on this A. Let's do that. We'll do the last bar of line 2, the A, then the B's, and come to the finish. 1, 2, 3, A, B, A, 3 G's, 2 beats for these A's, 2 more A's, B, A, G, E, G. That's the most active movement we've had, so you would want to work on the end again. B, A, G, E, G. Open second string to second fret third string. Open third string to second fret fourth string. That little movement may have been part of our warm-up. I may have used that to get you ready for it. So that's the melody. I'll leave you at that. We won't play over and over and over again. Probably I've done that too much already. We also have access in your repertoire to these chords, so you should be playing them as well. Depending where we're at and what your age is, you might be playing these little 3 or 4 string chords. So I would count you in. You'd have this G and then your C chord. I'd like to play this so that you hear that you don't rest in chords when you have that long note. You're not going to play 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The guitarist's job is to hold that rhythm. Right now we're just doing 4 strums per bar likely, although you may have worked on some down-up patterns. If you're doing 4 strums per bar, you're just holding the quarter note beat, and you will continue to play all the way through there. Here it is with those little chords. G just being that single note on the first string while we strum 3 or 4 strings. I'll hit the first note here so you know where I am. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now the C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last bar of C, back to G's. This bar feels like the beginning of the song. Last bar of the second line. Last G on the next line. D7s. Ending with a G. And you could start over. Hal Leonard is about to teach you the G7 and the C chord. They'll give you little versions and optional large versions. Depending where you're at in your playing, you may already have these big versions of your chords going already. So I'm going to put your music up and play through this once or twice here. 1, 2, 3. The C chord. G chord. This sounds like the beginning. I'm going to move on to Amazing Grace next. We're on page 17 of your book right now, but I'll skip over some pages to use these same ideas on page 20 and 21, where Amazing Grace and Will the Circle Be Unbroken show up. Take her easy, and I'll see you guys later.